Welcome to this International Women's Day special broadcast. My name is Lombechiti and I am your host this afternoon. Every year we bring women from all walks of life to come through, have a sit down chat with us and let us know what their interpretation of the theme for that particular year is. And this year we are looking at all women and girls' rights, equality and empowerment. And I'm not alone in studio. As said earlier, we bring women from all walks of life, and joining me in studio is none other than Lady Nomsa. Lady Nomsa, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Lombe. It's so good to see you today.
And it's like,
so pretty.
Thank you so much. You look gorgeous too.
Thank you.
Lady Nomsa is no stranger to me, but of course, to those of you that are watching us, you may be wondering, who is this woman? This is a woman that has risen above all odds. She is running a faith-based organization that initially started as a women's network called Arise in Purpose Women Network and has now reloaded to include men, young children, both boys and girls, because we have witnessed the gap that is existing in society, and it is now rebranded to Arise in Purpose Reloaded. Talking about Arise in Purpose Reloaded, you initially started this organization as a women's network.
Yeah.
What brought about the change? I know, of course, there's the gap that we've mentioned, but what pushed you to get to that place?
Okay, yeah. So when we first started with Arise, we just had women, and looking at the issues that we were dealing with, I got to discover that, while we were raising women that were purpose oriented, and the men were left in the dark. And so I got to a place where we empower this woman, but when she gets back, let's say a wife, when she gets back to the home, she gets back to a man who is not empowered. So you find that you still continue to do the same thing time and again. So we discovered that there was a gap actually not only on the men part, but also on the boys. We are raising this girl child. We are bringing her into a society with all the knowledge, the understanding. And then there's this boy who's left in the dark, who doesn't have anyone to teach him, to train him, and to develop him. So you find that this girl who is growing up will come and meet the same man, the same boy.
Was being raised with the old.
Yes. So it's that gap that actually made me to realize that, no, we need to bridge this. And that's how we incorporated the boys.
And it's now called Arise in Purpose
In Purpose.
Reloaded.
Oh, yes.
Now, help me understand one thing. Every year when we hear Women's Day, girls' rights, women's rights, there's this narrative being pushed by some sections of society that this woman is going against this man, because for a long time it has appeared as though this man has always dominated over this woman. Now, when we even when you talk equality, that comes in. What is your interpretation of this theme? And as a faith-based organization, how are you ensuring that the Word of God, which is your foundation, is what is the blueprint for fighting for equality, girls' and women's rights, as well as empowerment?
I think I'll answer that from a spiritual perspective. You'll find that the Bible has made it very clear. There are roles for a man and there are roles for a woman. So, and I think when the Word of God says that, we are all created in the image of God, and we are fearfully and wonderfully made, I see equality in that, because God did not say it's only the women that are created, beautifully and fearfully. It's also the men. And then secondly, it also talks about, that, we are all God's creation. So meaning we are equal before him, but with different roles that also complement each other. So I think when we talk about rights, there are statutory rights, there are rights that have been laid down for each and every one of us. I believe that when we talk about girls' rights, I think it's a place where we help the girls to know who they are, to be able to run in their purpose, to be able to do that which they were called for to do. So I don't see anything, really not so good about it, but I would say it's something that we would love to promote because this information has not reached the ends even of this country. You'll find that there are girls still being manipulated. They're still yeah, they can't go to school. They are placed into early marriages. There are girls who have defilements and all those things. So we need to disseminate information. We need to get to the rural areas, the places that have not really been reached, and sensitize the girls over their rights, that they should not be subjected to early marriages. They should not be subjected to, defilement and abuse, slavery, yes, and all those things. So they should be given the right to live according to the laws of Zambia, that a girl child should go to school, finish grade 12, and all those things. So I think it's important that we just spread out, we create awareness.
Now, my concern also comes in when we talk of equality. Right now, even the older woman is at risk. Recently in the news, we had a story where a man in his 20s raped his mother.
I saw that, yeah.
And so we have always had issues of fathers defiling their daughters. Now sons are defiling their or raping their mothers.
Yes.
What role is this man playing in building equality and empowerment? And when we talk about this equality, in what sense, or what is your interpretation of what this equality should be?
Like when we just get back to what you just spoke about, I think, remember in the first place, I spoke about, a boy child being left out. Even as we are empowering the woman, we have forgotten and neglected the boy. That's why you see such things happening. But if we brought, equality even just to the boys, like what we are empowering a girl child with, we're also taking interest in the boy child, because now we are raising a balanced society. So I believe that as we look at, this theme, it's important that stakeholders, organizations like non-governmental organizations, and the government come in together, to come up with certain policies, that will actually help even the boy child, that will help the men, because we see that if there's something that is lacking, that's why we have all these issues coming up. So if we bring in, these institutions to work together and work for a goal, like a common goal of achieving that which has been laid down, then we'll have a success story.
You're coming from quite a humble background, and most of the people that meet you as you walk through the streets of Masala can't help but, call the name Nomsa. One time I'm moving with her and someone says, Kadim! And I'm like, okay, when you talk of Masala area, Masala had a bit of its own stories around there.
Exactly.
You are growing in this place. For over 20 years, you've lived in this place. And then you get to a place where you now begin to run this network. Your journey is one that makes one question, how did she move from there and get to a place where she's at a place where she can be equal to the task of running a whole network that is now bridging the gap between men, women, boys, and girls?
Wow. Yesterday I was just even appreciating myself before I talk about my journey. Like, I really appreciated myself because uh, as Arise and Purpose, we have partnered with KCM, and we are doing programs for the youth, the boy and the girls. And this program is going to help the boys and girls, train them, and develop skills in them. So we have actually 4 towns that we'll be working with. That is Chingola, Kitwe, Chililabumbu, and Nampundwe. So when I saw this milestone, I looked at where I'm coming from. Truly, the only word I can say is purpose. In a nutshell, I'll say purpose. When I was growing up in that space, I didn't like everything about it. I didn't like the early pregnancies, of which I was a victim as well. I didn't like early marriages. Thank God I was saved from that.
How were you saved? Was it an issue of no, I want to go to school, or is the guardian saying no, she has to go to school?
Not really. I think I was at a place where I would have ended up into an early marriage. But I was looking at, my dreams. I had a dream to be someone, that people may look up to, someone that is inspirational, someone that can be of help to the next person. So, in as much as I was a teen mom, I still did not settle for marriage. I still went to school, completed my grade 12, and went into college. And the reason was just to improve my life. And I've seen so much, growth in my journey, because I'm one person who was open to learning new things, and so I exposed myself to people that were great mentors who would help me, train me, teach me. The thing is, the environment was not comfortable for me. And so I decided to do something different, and not be in a comfortable space that is choking me. Some people are very comfortable. So when we look at where I'm coming from, Lombe, I'll tell you, I've just been a fighter. I've been a person that wanted to change the narrative, because everybody thinks nothing good can come out of, Asala, especially near men matala. Pagairo prefere kunare kara society.
No, okay. No offense, but you know what we're talking about.
It's not easy. There are bars everywhere. People are drinking from morning.
And
Girls.
men that are drooling over young girls.
Yes.
You've got young girls parading themselves. They are waiting.
Every day there's a thief they are chasing. There's a prostitute they caught somewhere. There's activity.
How did you rise above that narrative? Because when you grow up in a certain environment, there's always this belief that this is normal and this is the norm. How did you rise above that?
Like I told you, I think I've been someone growing up. I've just been someone who wanted to do something different from the narrative, from the norm. And so I was not comfortable. In short, I was not just comfortable. Hey, why? Okay, why can't we just be like the other people on the other side? But I was just like, why can't we be like the other people on the other side, to my manners, you don't even know what's going on in the neighbor's house. I was really so much like interested to just live a different life. And so I was always pushing, always trying to get myself in a better space. And trust you me, I have never sat down since.
Wow. And we look at you now and we're looking at, your journey. We hear your story. And every time I'm looking at this thing, I'm thinking empowerment. This is a woman that was empowered. Now, help me understand one thing. In your journey towards empowerment, giving yourself the equality that you needed to strive in life, who have been the key players? Has it been women only? Has it been men only? Who are the key people that have shaped your journey?
Oh, it's been both men and women.
I have this question because when we talk about women, we think that society is only safe because it has a woman.
Yeah.
How important are men in shaping a safe and equal environment for us where women are empowered?
Okay, like I would say men are important, Lombe, because we can't know everything. We cannot be like them. We are feminine, they are masculine. There's this time when I'll just take you back when I was married, and my husband would do everything for me with regards to my car. I would just drive. But when he passed on, may his soul rest in peace, I realized that there are a lot of things I did not know. I didn't know how to check my engine oil. I didn't know. I would just drive this car. Then time for, road tax came. I didn't know where to go, how to go about it. And it was so frustrating. Like I was so depressed. Just doing these things, I got depressed.
And that's how important the man
The man is important. That's why God created man and woman. There's a balance, in that combination. So we can't do away with the men. In as much as we want to promote, yes, empowerment of women, women equality and stuff like that, but we are all called differently. We have different roles. And I believe that men have played a role in my life. My husband played a role. My pastors played a role. These mentors, women and men, they played a role. I still have male mentors. I still have women mentors around me. Why do I need them? I need to understand the makeup of a man. I need to understand, okay, how does a man look at things? In which direction should I table this matter? So if I'm just listening to the women, then I'm not helping myself. So I believe that men play a role in everything that happens. They play a role.
In raising this empowered woman.
Exactly.
You just mentioned something critical as we wrap up our interview this afternoon. You said when your husband died, there are a number of things you discovered you did not know how to do. It's been how many years now?
It's going to 4.
4 years since his passing. May he so rest in peace. As a woman who now has to raise children on her own and be an independent mother away from her husband, how have you navigated that space and ensured that you remain empowered while remaining equal to the task?
One thing I've always told myself, Lombe, is that I will never be a failure. Even when I fail in some situations, I quickly get back. I have a resilient spirit. Like, I get back so quickly. So even after the loss, I saw there was a huge responsibility, upon my shoulders. I had to raise my boys without a man in the house. And I had to raise my daughter. They had to go to school. I have to continue with my entrepreneurship journey. I had to continue with my ministry, the network of women. So there was a lot on my plate, and I was single, alone. So I discovered that the only way to win this is to be confident in myself first, and then also be determined to win. One thing I've never lost is focus. In as much as I was in pain, I was focused on the goal. I really wanted to achieve. I really wanted to make even my late husband proud, to say I left her, but she's able to continue where I left.
She's not in competition with him.
No.
She's supplementing.
Yes. So I was like, I have to do this. Even as I am a woman, I may be vulnerable, I may be, less in some, areas, but I'll push myself. And I kept pushing. Today, I'm proud of myself, Lombe, because I've established 2 businesses. Yes, 2 businesses without the help of my husband. So that has really given me, that, I would say courage and confidence to say I can do it. A woman can do it, and I can push. So women have to just be in a space where even if there's nobody empowering you, you can empower yourself.
My final question, who is your biggest competitor as a woman? Is it a fellow woman? Is it a man? Is it yourself? The reason I'm asking this is because as we look at empowerment and equality, it's always good to know who are you going up against. Because sometimes you may be going against the man who's supposed to help you, against the fellow woman who's supposed to help you. And sometimes you go against yourself and you. So who's your biggest competition as a woman?
I think on that one, I would say I'm my biggest competition. I wouldn't point at another person because I have the dream. I have a goal that I want to achieve. And so remember I told you about focus. When you are focused on what you want to achieve, you compete with yourself because there's a mark that you need to reach. You don't look elsewhere, what other people are doing. You don't know their plan. So you find that the moment you distract yourself to compete with a man, you find that you will not achieve your goals because that man has got their own plan and direction, which
They will become your standard.
Yes, so you find that every time you're depressed because you did not reach or meet their standard. So I believe that we are all here to network, get together, support, what the other person is doing, get to learn from them, and focus on your goals. So be your biggest competitor. So I compete with myself. I have goals for this year that I want to achieve, and I'm competing with myself to make sure that I achieve.
Wow, beautiful. Well, Lady Nomsa, we have to come to the end of our interview. Any final words for that young lady, that girl, that woman that is watching, including that man who has to create a safe space for this woman and girl to be, empowered and attain their equality?
Okay, my last words would be, believe in yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, get to discover who you are. I think that's the most powerful tool. Getting to know who you are, you will not abuse self and you will not be abused. So the best advice is that this year, 2025, as we celebrate Women's Day, men support us, celebrate with us because, especially me, I want.
Take us out.
Yes, take me for dinner, buy me roses, yes, flower, and a nice dress, of course. So the advice is simple on the purpose. Get to know who you are, why you are here. Let that be your starting point. When you know who you are, when you understand your purpose, then you answer your why questions. And so wherever you are, it doesn't matter. You may be in a place where there's no support. You may be in a place where there's no finances maybe available for you, but there will always be a way. There will always be a way. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. You still have chance.
Thank you so much, Lady Nomsa. I literally felt like you were speaking to me because there's some dreams I put on hold because I'm like, girl, there's no money. But hey, we are going to resurrect those dreams because at the end of the day, we have to keep dreaming and keep pushing. This year's International Women's Day theme is all women and girls' rights, equality, and empowerment. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of International Women's Day special broadcast. My name is Lomba Chiti and I have been your host. Do let us know how you are celebrating your Women's Day in the comment section below. Thank you so much for joining us.